Yeah, change that to
Test, test, test.
change that to the broadcaster chat.
This. Yeah. All right. Test, test, test. All right. Let's make sure that everything's good. All right. So that's good. Is Instagram up? Let's check Instagram, but not Instagram. Nothing. That's just Facebook. All right, guys, give me a second. I'm looking to get Instagram up, but I'm running into some issues. So, how did we get the Instagram the last time? Bruh.
Go to the internet. Instagram.
Audio's good. Oh, that's the IG. So, what happened to it? So, where did we have to go?
You have to go back to Instagram to press live into it.
What you mean?
You got to press live on IG too.
Yeah, but where did it pop up?
You go to
Oh, we're live. I bet. All right, cool. All right, so
watch.
it's obvious we need to. How do we do that? Guys, we're having some technical difficulties here. Working on it. We're finna get it. Because there shouldn't be any feedback.
It's because it's going to be on the screen.
Oh, the feedback is from Instagram. Okay, what if we turn this down? Like, mute this, the computer. All right. Hey, guys, drop some fire in the chat if you can hear me. Let me see what's going on. Let's see. All right, drop some fire in the chat if you can hear me. I'm working on some technical stuff, and I want to make sure that everything's good. So if you can hear me, drop some fire in the chat, and then I will. Then we're gonna kick it off. Okay, I'm seeing the fire in the chat, so it looks like we're good to go. I can hear, I can hear. I see the fires in the chat. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, shout out to my guy Maurice here for getting me live. All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're going to talk about today is repossessions, right? Instagram, just keep dropping them fires. Let me know that you guys can still hear me. Everybody, like, we're streaming on right now 10 platforms. So the technical aspect that goes into it is a little bit more than my expertise. So bear with me, all right? I am not the technical guru. I am the consumer law guru, right? I am not the technical guru. All right, cool. So I see the fires coming in, so that means you guys can hear me. All right, very good. So now, we want to talk about repossessions. This week I did a survey, and the topic that came up most was repossessions. One second. So the topic that came up most is repossession. And after reading what happened with Wells Fargo and the illegal repossessions and doing more research on repossessions, I think it was a great topic for us to deal with today. So let me see how many people on here. If you have repossession, just drop repo. If you have repossession, or if anyone you know have repossessions, just drop repo in the chat, and let's get it going. And by the way, let me see. Yeah, I want to see how many of you got repossession, or you know somebody that has a repossession. I want to see y'all drop the word repossession in the chat. Let me see if that's a topic. If we have enough people today to talk about repossession, or we should just go into something else. So let me see the amount of people right now that want the repossession breakdown. And if so, we'll get into it. If not, we will switch the topic. So, how many people want the repossession breakdown? Let me see what's going on. I'm not seeing the chats going off. Let's see. I know someone who got repo. I see the fires coming in the chat. Instagram, what you got? Who wants the repossession? I see a few people that wants the repossession. So let me see everybody on Instagram. I'm not seeing no comments on Instagram. What's going on, Instagram? Maurice, check with the Instagram for me, and let's make sure that Instagram is still good. I don't know if it's stuck, but I'm not seeing any of the comments from Instagram. Huh? Refresh the browser? Bruh, isn't it going to cut the live off? Huh? Yeah, but where though? Really? You sure, bro? But see, I'm not moving. That's stuck. Yo, this stream stuff, man, is really. I connect streaming software. Go live. It's okay, so it's live, but I can't see it. Yeah, I did, but I think it needs us to go online with streaming software. Yeah, it's not giving me the option. Yeah, but the comments are important. All right, so I'll do it from the phone. All right, so I'm gonna do this because Instagram is acting stupid. Just give me a second, guys. I don't know what is going on. Hmm? All right. And then the quality too, Maurice. The quality sucks. All right. Just testing something out. Give me just 2 seconds. because I know I'm seeing everything. I want to make sure that okay. Hmm. All right, we're gonna figure this out. All right, y'all say it looks great. All right, we're gonna start, guys. I'm telling you, there's just always something technical going on, man. All right, cool. So we're gonna start. So repossessions, right? Repossessions and why is repossessions important? Well, there's a lot of people that suffer every day from collection companies and from the repossession companies, right? So lenders. So let's backtrack a little bit. What causes a repossession? Can you see and comment just fine on IG? All right, cool. So it looks like something's working. All right. So when it comes to repossession, there's a few things we need to factor in. So let me ask you guys a question. What state are you guys in? Can you drop y'all states? What state are you guys tuning in on the live from? Because your state is very important because there's state laws that govern repossessions, and then there's federal laws. So there's state laws, and then there is federal laws, right? All right. So we got state laws, we got federal laws. Now, for the state that you are in, depending on what state you are in, the state laws itself might be different, right? So for everybody that's in the state of Georgia, I'm going to use the state of Georgia as I'm going to use the state of Georgia as an example. So let me say this again. I'm going to use the state of Georgia as an example. So what I want you guys to do is follow in your state. So if you're in Wisconsin, whatever I'm doing for the state of Georgia, I want you to pull up the same thing for your state. Right? Right? So every time I do something on the board, I want you guys to follow for your state. So I'm going to switch over to the board. If you see me looking down from time to time, it is because I'm streaming the Instagram from the phone. We're having issues with the streaming software, and Instagram is just the Instagram is not connecting it. I don't know why, but we're gonna move over to the board, right? So, all right. So let's go to the board. Hey, Maurice, I want you to check the quality of the board on the live that you're running. Let me see. All right. So repo, right? All right. What's the quality like on the board, Maurice? Are you seeing it properly? Huh? Okay, cool. All right. So if we're in the state of Georgia, the first thing I want to do, huh? So the first thing I want to do is come to Google. So you're gonna go to Google. So you're gonna go to Google, right? And what you're gonna type in Google is, so I'm in Georgia. So Georgia State repossession law. So that's the first thing you want to type in. You want to type in the repossession law specific to your state, right? So as you can see now, this is the Georgia state repossession law. So once I find the repossession law for that particular state, I'm going to look at the law and see what the law says. Now, this says Georgia Code Title 10, Commerce and Trade, Chapter 1, Selling and Other Trade Practices, Article 2, Motor Vehicle Sales, Financing, Disposition of Motor Vehicle Repossessed. So as you can see right here, disposition of motor vehicles repossessed after default. So your state law is going to have something similar to this. It might not be the same wording, right? It might not be the same wording, but your state law will have something about disposition, repossession, and default, right? So if everybody's following, let me see y'all drop some fire in the chat. Let me see what's going on with Instagram. All right, so it looks like it's too big. All right. Let me make sure that everybody's following. Guys, talk to me. Is everybody good? Everybody's following? Let's see. It's backwards. Okay. Oh, I see what you guys are saying. How is it backwards? But shouldn't it be showing it the same way it's on the screen? Right. Oh, so it's backwards. Bro. I'm gonna go just, all right, we should be good. Perfect. All right, we should be good now. I do apologize. It's backwards. I got you. I got you. We just flipped it back. My apologies. Everything should be good now. Everything should line up. If it's lined up now, drop some fire in the chat. Let me make sure that everything is lined up. Are we good? Should be lined up. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you guys are seeing. Still not lined? How is that possible? Hold on. Some still backwards. How? It's still backwards. Huh? Yeah, it's still backwards. Yeah. Yeah, but if we take off the mirror camera, because it's showing perfect up there. I don't get it. This never happened. Take a minute. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, but it's showing on our end. It's not showing backwards. still backwards. All right, we're finna fix it. We're finna get it. So you're thinking that it's inside the ATEM mini flipping it? Yep, that's it, Maurice. It's good. It's good. All right, bet. We just fixed it. I believe it's good now. All right, there you go. All right, we won. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shout out to Maurice. Yep. All right, we look like we're good. Sheesh. All right. If it's good now, guys, let me see. I'll drop some fire in the chat. We're good. And I apologize. I was not seeing that it was backward. So now we need to figure out why. And Maurice, you're going to have to show me why the A10 mini, why the A10 mini did that weird thing. How to fix it if it ever happens again. Yeah, I think it's in the mini itself. When it receives the image, it flips it. All right, but we're good now. We're good, right? We're good. So now we're at the section where it's talking about what? Disposition, right? So it's important that you know what your state laws are. So did everybody Google their state repossession law? Let me see y'all put yes in the chat. Did everyone Google your state repossession laws? Did everyone Google your state repossession laws? Three. Let me see if everybody did it. Wait, let me see the screen. Is it showing the text business to 917? All right. So each state has their own repossession law. So, all right, cool. So now that you found your state repossession law, it's important now that you learn to break this law apart. So, like I said before, this is the state of Georgia we're talking about. All right. So what I'm going to be breaking down here is specifically for the state of Georgia. So for everybody else, I'm going to need you guys to look up your state, and I want you to use the similar breakdown I'm using right here. So when any motor vehicle has been repossessed after default, in accordance with Part 6 of Article 9 of Title 11, the seller or holder shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency against the buyer unless. So that's the first thing we need to know, right? So the seller. So right now it's an issue, and the issue is if the seller don't if the seller don't do certain things. So if certain things doesn't happen, the seller cannot collect, right? So how how do we use this information now to our own? Well, the first thing you want to do is find out why the seller can't collect. So we know that in a 10-day period, so we know the statute of limitations is 10 days, right? It's 10 days. And in this 10 days, the seller must do something, or the creditor. They must do a series of stuff before they can collect. Some, no, no, the one you made. So the seller must now the seller or holder shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency against the buyer unless within 10 days after repossession he or she forwards by registered or certified mail or overnight delivery to the address of the shown buyer of the buyer shown on the contract or later designated by the buyer a notice of sellers or holders. So the first thing that must happen is they must send a notice. So the first, they must send a notice to the buyer. What else? They must send a notice to the buyer. This notice must be sent certified mail, right? Certified mail. It must be sent certified mail, statutory mail, statutory, wrong, statutory mail, statutory mail, not statutory, statutory. My bad. But it must be sent in statutory mail or registered mail. All right. So the notice that's being sent, it must be sent either by certified mail, statutory mail, or registered mail. This is very important for those of you in the state of Georgia. It's important that you know this. The mail that they're going to send you for repossession must be sent certified mail, statutory mail, or registered. Very, very important. The next part is it must be sent to the address on the contract, or if the buyer elects a different address, right? So must be sent. A notice must be sent. It must be sent certified, statutory overnight, or registered. It must be sent to the address on the contract, or if the buyer designates a different address designated by the buyer, a notice of a seller's or holder's intent to pursue. Now, the thing about the notice says the notice must have, the notice must possess, the notice must possess, it must have this language: seller or hold, seller or holder's intention to pursue a deficiency claim against the buyer. All right. Is everyone seeing how using the state laws, right? Using state repossession law, how you can break down the state repossession laws into steps. It's important that you break the state law down in steps because once you know the steps, it's easy for you to now evaluate the repossession process. So, what I'm actually doing is I'm taking the Georgia state law and I'm breaking it down into steps of what is required by the lender or the seller. So, so now we know that they must send it to the address, right? And it must say the holder's intention to pursue a deficiency claim about the buyer against the buyer. The notice shall also advise the buyer of his rights. So the next thing is the notice must contain buyer's rights, right? Notice must contain the buyer's rights. Hold on, there's more. The notice shall also advise the buyer of his or her right of redemption. Rights of redemption. Very important. As well as a right to demand public sale of the possession. Also, the right to demand public sale. Public sale of the repossessed. So, the right to redeem or to demand public sale of the repossessed vehicle. What else does the law say? The notice shall advise, all right, in the event that the buyer exercises his or her right to demand public sale of goods, he or she shall, in writing, so advise the seller or holder of his or her election by registered mail. Now, all right. So now, should the buyer, so if the buyer decides to elect to do a public sale, the buyer now, right? The buyer, if the buyer elects public sale, the buyer must now send this notice to the seller via certified mail, registered mail, or statutory. The notice shall also advise the buyer of his rights. He or she shall advise the holder in action of the registration, certified statutory overnight, delivered to the address seller, address from which the seller or holder is created within 10 days. So you're selling it to the address, the notice came from within 10 days, right? So now, let's evaluate this for a minute, right? All right, so I want us to go over the steps. So now we're gonna break it down, right? So now let's go over it. If you're in the state of Georgia, if you're in the state of Georgia, right? If you're in the state of Georgia, the Georgia repossession laws require certain things before any lender or creditor or seller can collect on the vehicle, right? So before they can do anything, the law says in 10 days, the buyer must be sent a notice. So the creditor, we can call them the seller slash creditor. Right? The creditor they must send the buyer a notice. So if you're the buyer, if this is you, and you're the buyer, right? The seller must send you a notice. So they must send you a notice, right? Now, this notice that they're going to send must be sent certified mail or registered mail or Sagittary overnight mail. All right, so it must be sent certified mail, registered mail, or Sagittary overnight mail. If they sent you mail that is not certified, mail that is not registered mail, or mail that was not sent Sagittary overnight, that is the first violation. That is the first violation of Georgia state repossession laws. That's the first violation, right? Now, the mail must be sent to the address on the contract. The mail must be sent to the address on the contract. Now, if it gets sent to a different address, it must be an address that was elected by the buyer. So if the buyer says, hey, Mr. Seller, I am going to be at this address. Do not send any notices to me at the address on the contract. Here is a new address for you to send me notices to. The seller must send the notice to the new elected address. Which road going by? Just the road itself? All right.
Two mics are giving some issues.
Check, check, check. Audio test 1, 2. Audio test 1, 2. Better? All right. So, guys, I just changed the mic. Choppy when he turns away from the camera. All right. I just changed the mic, so hopefully the audio is much better right now. All right. So, sounds better? Keep this one on.
That's this.
It picks it up too. All right, so let me know how the audio sounds. Audio test 1, 2. Guys, give me some fire in the chat. Let me know how the audio is going. I just switched the audio. Let me know how the audio is going. How is the audio? There is a hum in the background, like gain is high, good and loud. Okay, I think the issue might have been the cord that I was using. It's the road? All right, so. Use that as a boom mic. So add to the list. We need to get a boom mic. All right, cool. So when it comes to all right, great now, sounds good now, no more hum. Okay, cool. It sounds like the mic's better. All right, no static, better. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get into it. So the first thing we need to comprehend now, right? We need to comprehend that the seller, they must send the notice to the consumer or to the buyer. It must be sent certified mail, registered mail, or Sagittary overnight mail. That's the first thing, right? It must be sent within 10 days of the repossessed vehicle. So when they repossess the car or the truck or whatever, it must be sent in that first 10 days. So let me ask you guys a question. If the notice is not sent in the 10 days, what just happened? If they did not send a notice within the 10 days of the vehicle being repossessed, what is that called? It's illegal repo, absolutely. So only one person is paying attention. Man, I guess I'm not doing a very good job teaching today. What's going on, Doreen? If the seller does not send the notice within the 10 days, if the seller is not sending the notice within the 10 days, guys, what just happened? Remember, what does the law say for Georgia? The law says when any motor vehicle has been repossessed after default in accordance with Part 6 of Article 9. So, for those of you who don't know, Part 6, Article 9 is the federal code of the law, right? It's the federal code that repossession is, it's the section that repossession is in, right? Now, what the states have done, the states have adopted their own version of the repossession laws. But the repossession laws that the states adopted is in addition to the federal law. It's not, the state law is separate and the federal law is non-existent. It's an adoption from the federal law. Each state now has their own specific things for repossessions. So what does that mean? Even though we are discussing the state repossession laws right now, the compliance of the federal aspect of Article 6 of Part 6, Article 9 must be in effect. So the seller or holder shall, I want you guys to look at this. I want you guys to pay attention. I want you to look at this. The seller or the holder shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency against the buyer unless does everyone see, like, is everyone seeing what is there? Is like, is this a public meeting? Oh, the seller cannot collect. The seller shall not be entitled to recover a deficiency. So, guys, for those of you who don't know what a deficiency repossession balance is, let me explain what a deficiency repossession balance is. If you have a car, right? You got a car, right? Cool thing about the board, bro. So if you have a car, right? So let's say this is a Jeep, right? This is a Jeep Wrangler, right? So this is my Jeep, right? Got my tires going, got my door. I got Maurice right there in the back setting everything up, right? So this is my Jeep, right? And my Jeep got repossessed. My Jeep got repossessed, right? My Jeep got repossessed. Now, they took the car and then they brought the car to an auction, right? And then you got all these people bidding on my Jeep because my Jeep is fly, right? My Jeep is fly and everybody wants my Jeep. So everybody now at the auction is bidding on my Jeep. And the Jeep got sold to this guy. So this guy won the bid, right? He won the bid. Now, I owed 15,000 on this Jeep. But he bought it for 7,000, right? What is left, the difference of what was paid for the Jeep and what was owed is called the repossession, repossession deficiency balance. Right? So if my Jeep goes to auction, and then it was sold for less, and it was sold for less than what I owed, there is what is called now a repossession deficiency balance. So what shows up on your credit score, right? So what shows up on your credit score is the repo deficiency balance. That is what shows up on your credit report, and normally this is what gets sent to collections. Now, before a deficiency balance, so right here where you saw the law, and the law says before, listen what the law says. The seller or holder shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency against the buyer unless. So let's break this part down. This is the part that I want you to break down. A seller, right? The seller or holder shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency. Do you guys know we can't see? What do you mean you can't see? Hold up. Hold up, Doreen. I got to make sure that everybody can see. Are we good? I got to make sure that everybody's seeing. We can see. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? All right. So the balance that was left over is called the repossession deficiency balance. So they shall not be entitled to recover any deficiency against the buyer unless within 10 days after repossession he or she forwards the registered mail or statutory mail or the certified mail to the address on the contract. What does this mean? What does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? If the seller does not comply with the sections of the law says the seller cannot collect a deficiency against the consumer unless the seller does what the state law requires. Does that make sense? So does everyone see, like there's a lot of you right now that have repossessions, and I'm willing to bet $1,000. Somebody put $1,000 in the chat for me. Somebody put $1,000 in the chat. I am willing to bet that the repossessions that happened to some of you guys happened not only illegally, but it did not meet state requirements, and you are left with a repossession deficiency balance that a lender or a seller is attempting to collect, and they did not comply with state or federal law. I am willing to bet $1,000 that there are people on this live right now, or you know somebody on this live, and their car got repossessed, but because you never knew your state repossession laws, you didn't know federal repossession laws, that lender, that seller repossessed your vehicle illegally, and they are attempting to collect on a balance that they have no right to collect on, because the law is very straight. The law says if they do not do the required formalities prescribed in the law, they cannot collect any deficiency against the consumer. Hello, somebody. I hope somebody got what I'm just saying. I really hope somebody received what I just said. If the seller didn't send proper notice, then they are not entitled to the repossession deficiency balance, and that makes the reported repo null and void. It's not, David, it's not that it's null and void. The repossession was done not in compliance with state and federal laws, which now becomes a violation and an illegal repossession. So now, when we take somebody to small claims court, this is the sauce of how you get paid for the repossession and how you get the repossession deleted. So now when you take them to small claims, remember, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And this is why being in the university, guys, gives you such an advantage when you are going after these crooked creditors. Yeah, put a restraining order on them so they couldn't come back to my property. That's one way of doing it. But guys, you can get paid for repossessions. Let me show y'all something. I'm going to show you guys how you can get paid for repossession. Let me show. Hold on. Who wants to get paid for repossessions? Let me see right now. Who wants to get paid for repossession? Because I don't think y'all want to get paid. Who wants to get paid for repossession? UCC 9, Part 6. Who wants to get paid for repossessions? I think somebody might want to get paid for repossessions. Who wants to get paid for repossessions? All right, let me show y'all something. See, after default, right, a secured party may take possession of the collateral and, without removal, may render equipment unusable and dispose of collateral on a debtor's premises under Section 610. All right, we're going to go to 610. A secured party may proceed Under subsection A, person, a judicial process. So, did the repossession company have an order from the courts that gave them permission to collect the collateral? Was there any document from the court of competent jurisdiction that gave them judicial authority or that gave them the right to collect? That's one. The second part is, if a order, right, if they did not get a document authorizing the repossession from the court, the repossession must be done without a breach of peace. Now, what does it mean that, Darain, what does it mean, a breach of peace? Well, a breach of peace means that there are no altercations, meaning that when the repo guy came for the car, right, you were not in the car and you were protesting the repossession. That is not a peaceful repossession. If there is confrontation and altercation between the consumer and the repossession company, then guys, that is not a peaceful repossession. Right? So even if you don't need the court order in Pennsylvania, it still doesn't change the fact that a repossession must not breach the peace. Right? So that's the first thing. They took it while I was sleeping. Okay. So there was no breach of peace. But let me tell you something. If your property has a gate, right? If there's a gate on your property and a repo guy or repo gal opened your gate to come onto your premises and take the vehicle, that is a breach of peace. If the vehicle is in a garage and the garage is closed and the repo people opened the garage and took the vehicle, that is a violation of the breach of peace. So if the garage door is closed and they go in and take the vehicle, that is a breach of peace. If you, the consumer, are protesting, stop, don't take my vehicle, you go inside the vehicle, that is now not a peaceful repossession. Any repossession that happens during any altercation is not a peaceful repossession. So, well, the next thing the law says is where? Oh. Well, this part can be moved right here. Yeah. So, let's talk about you guys getting paid now. Let me show you guys something. See, there's a section called remedy, and this is federal law, guys. Remedies for secured parties' failure to comply with article. Right? I have a question about your program, but this seems pre-recorded. Can you answer any questions I have? Tiffany, I want you to do me a favor, Tiffany. Text the word university. Tiffany, text the word university to 917-993-5238. Tiffany, text the word university to 917-993-5238. My apartment has a gate. Is that the same thing? A gate is a gate. There's a gate on the property. Right? So now, if a lender or a creditor or a secured party, if they fail to comply with the law, the consumer, you are owed a remedy. Let's see what the remedy is. The law says if it is established that a secured party, so this word right here, I want you to look at this word. If it is established, if it is established that a secured party is not proceeding in accordance with this article, a court may order or restrain collection, enforcement, or disposition of collateral on an appropriate term and conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, what that is saying is if you are able to prove that the secured party, the creditor, or the seller was non-compliant with state and federal laws, disposition of collateral, you are an appropriate term. You can make appropriate terms for your remedy. So you can have appropriate terms. And those appropriate terms I would want would be a complete deletion from my consumer report. That's number one. Number two, I want the vehicle free and clear of any encumbrance, right? I want the collateral free and clear of any balance or encumbrance. And number three, I want to recover monetary damages because I have actual damages. I couldn't work. I was stressed. Y'all see where this is going. I was stressed. You assassinated my character. You basically illegally repossessed the vehicle that I used to transport my kids to school. It's my primary source that I use to go to work. Right? So we're not talking about significant damages. I'm Ubering on the side. And now I lost all of this income because you illegally repossessed the vehicle. So under appropriate terms, I would put as much as I possibly can and see what I get. Now, dear, I'm not going to tell you guys that there's a right way and a wrong way for you to say what your appropriate terms are. Whatever your appropriate terms are to you, list them, right? Is either going to get it or not. Now, let's talk about damages for non-compliance. Subject to subsection C, D, and F, a person is liable for damages in the amount of any loss caused by the failure to comply with this article. Loss caused by failure to comply with this article may include loss resulting from the debtor's inability to obtain or increase cost of alternative financing. Well, hello. So, guys, I'm going to give you guys a gem. Oh, my God. If y'all want this gem, I need to see pure fire in the chat. I'm going to read this section again. And if you guys don't have pure fire in the chat, I'm not going to tell y'all. I'm going to read this one more time. Damages for non-compliance. Subject to subsection C, D, and F, right? A person is liable for damages in the amount of any loss caused by a failure to comply with this article. Loss caused by a failure to comply may include loss resulting from the debtor's inability to obtain. So to obtain means if you apply for some loans and you didn't get it, right? Increased cost, it means if you have some credit cards and you applied for larger limits and you never got those limits, guess what? Those are violations. And guess what? Alternative finance. So if I want a Lamborghini Urus If I want a Lamborghini Urus and I decide that after the repo, I'm going to go get me a Lamborghini Urus, and I got denied as a result of their failure to comply with the repossession laws. Ooh, where's my water? Where is my water? Where are my people at that do Turo? Where's all my Turo and my short-term rentals and my car? Where's everybody at? Because I don't think y'all got what I just said. I don't think y'all got what I just said at all. I'm going to read this one more. Let me see y'all put one more time in the chat. I'm going to read this one more time. Because some of y'all didn't get it. All right. Did y'all put one more time in the chat? Somebody somebody wipe my forehead. You're goddamn right. Let me see y'all put one more time in the chat. All right. Let's look at what C says. C, persons entitled to recover damages, statutory damages in consumer goods transaction, except as provided in section 9-628. A person that at the time of the failure was a debtor, was an obligor, or held security interest in or other lien on the collateral. Well, not that. Recover when deficiency eliminated or reduced. Statutory damages, non-compliance with specific provision. All right. In addition to any damages recoverable under subsection B, a debtor, consumer, obligor, or person named as the debtor, right, in a filed record as applicable may recover $500 in each case from a person that fails to comply with section 9-208, so that's $500 there, fails to comply with section 9-209, that's $500 there, files a record that the person is not entitled to file, that's another $500, fails to cause the secured party of record or to file or send a termination statement as required by section 9-513, that's $500, right? So they're just giving you guys a breakdown of some of the monetary damages or the monetary remedy associated with some of the violations. But I want you guys to really look at this. A debtor, right, whose deficiency is eliminated. Wait, this is it? Nope, not this one. Oh, remember earlier I spoke about your appropriate terms? Who remembers earlier I spoke about appropriate terms? Guys, for appropriate terms, you can have the deficiency balance eliminated. Remember earlier when I said that if you can prove that the creditor or the seller did not comply with the law, you can also eliminate, under your appropriate actions, where is it? Appropriate, under your appropriate terms, elimination of the deficiency balance can also be an appropriate term. Does that mean the seller is liable for the cost of the car you got denied for? So they are liable for me not being able to secure alternative financing. So now I am not going to say, right? I'm not going to say that they're responsible for the car that I didn't get. The law didn't say that. The law says they are responsible and they're liable if I could not get alternate finance, right? It says it right here. If alternative financing cannot be achieved or the consumer can't get alternate finance, the seller, the buyer, not the buyer, the seller, the holder, the secured party is liable. That is what is called damage. So I know a lot of you right now are very excited and you're like, yo, I want to learn this repossession stuff. I need you to do one thing for me. For everybody right now that wants to join my university, right? For everybody that wants to join my university, what I want you guys to do right now is text the word university, right? Text the word university to 917. So I want you to text the word university to 917 993 5238, right? So text the word university to 917 993 5238. And guys, I am going to blow your mind with this repossession stuff. Like the things you can do with consumer law is on a whole nother level. No Metro 2, no factual dispute can do this for you. Consumer laws can take your credit report, they can take you and your finances to places that no other form of dispute can. So I want you guys to text the word university to 917 993 5238. Secure your spot. Join the community. Be a part of the information. Be a part of the community. Be a part of knowledge that's going to change our whole lives. Now, Lord, let's go get paid. Let me see y'all put, let's go get paid in the chat. So, there's another part now of UCC 9 that I want us to go over. Non-liability and limitations. Let me see. Limitations of liability. I believe there's a civil liability section. Where is it? Determination of whether the conduct was commercially reasonable. All right, so I'm not seeing it right now. But let's go back to remedies. I'm going to read the remedies one more time. If you have been damaged, right? If you have been damaged, and what damage means is because of a repossession, right? You could not obtain credit, meaning that you applied for credit, you applied for the extension of credit, but you got denied as a result of a repossession. So if you have ever been denied because a repossession is on your consumer report, ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn repossession laws, because if the company, the creditor, the seller, whoever, if they violated the state and federal laws in repossessing this vehicle, you are owed damages. Did everyone hear what I just said? Or am I just the only one just talking to myself? If you or somebody you know had a repossession, right? If they had a repossession and the repossession did not meet state and federal laws, meaning that the repossession was not done properly, right? The repossession company or the creditor failed to comply with the law. Guys, listen to me well. The repossession company is an agent of the creditor. The repossession company is an agent of the seller. The repossession company is an agent of the secured party. So, whatever the repossession company does, it is on behalf of whoever employed him or her. So, so if federal laws are broken, what if there were other things on your consumer report along with the repossessions? Would this still apply? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And if that repo is on there and I got denied, guess what? I got denied because of the repossession. Unless the denial letter specifically states that it was something else apart from the repossession, then no, you won't be able to use it. But if they didn't specify and the repossession is on there, guess what? I got denied because of the repossessions. Is there a statute on repossession? Are you? I am going to make an assumption that you mean, is there a statute of limitations on repossessions? Well, that's a very good question. Let's go find out. That's a very good question. Is there a statute of limitations on repossession violations? Let's see. The statute of limitations on car repossession is a law that dictates how long a creditor has to file a lawsuit against an individual. Not that part. The statute of limitation for car repossession can last anywhere from 3 months to 10 years, depending on the state. So there's two types of statute of limitations. The first statute of limitations that I want you guys to think about is the statute of limitations that they have to repossess. So there's a window, right? There's a window from when the default happens to the time they have to collect on the repossession. Now, I think you're asking that when you find a violation, let's say, Doreen, it's been 5 years since that repo was done. Is there a statute of limitations that can stop me from going back after that creditor? I haven't seen one. The statute of limitations that I have seen, let me see. The statute of limitations that I have seen are the statute of limitations that dictates when or the amount of time that a creditor has to repossess the vehicles. I have been here. Okay. Right. Now, let me see if I can find what you're looking for. Communicate with your lender. I don't see anything right now that says after the repossession happened, there's a statute of limitation for the consumer. So for right now, I am going to say right now, based on my current knowledge, right? So this is me right now based on my current knowledge. After the repossession has occurred, I have not seen any statute of limitation that says if the repossession was done 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, that a consumer cannot go back after them for damages and violations of UCC 9 Part 6. I don't see it. I haven't seen it. So maybe if there's a, oh, you know what? I got somebody that I could ask. I got somebody that I can ask. All right. Let me call this person right now and let me find out. Because I like knowing this shit. Brian Ponder. So there's a consumer lawyer that I know. His name is Brian. I'm going to give him a call right now because now y'all got me curious. Let me see if he picks up.
What's going on, Brian?
Hey Brian, what's going on? So I'm on live, right, Brian? And a very unique question came to me that is beyond my capabilities to answer. And I think you're probably the only person I know that might have the answer.
Maybe.
All right. So Brian, let's say for repossession, right? Let's say that I got my car repossessed and I didn't know consumer law. But 3 years later or 4 years later, I learned consumer law and I revisited everything that happened in the repossession process. And I know now that the repossession company that was the agent of the seller or the secured party did a couple of violations, and then I read UCC 9 Part 6, and it tells me that if the secured party failed to do anything or to act in accordance with the state and federal laws, that I am owed damages. Is there a statute of limitations where I can go back after that creditor for failure to comply with the law in the repossession?
Well, statute of limitation wise, I'm not sure because usually when I deal with uh, the UTC, it's a violation of collecting on efficiency balance and always right RIPE.
Brian, we're I'm getting a lot of like you're breaking up. It sounds like your
Oh, okay.
connection is bad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, much better, right there. Wherever you are right
What I
now.
was telling, oh, okay. What I was telling you, Doreen, was everything has a statute of limitations, but I'm not sure right offhand what it is for that particular six. And the reason is because it never becomes an issue because most people, when they have an issue like that, it's always a ripe issue, RIPE, meaning there's always an active attempt to collect a deficiency. So statute of limitations doesn't matter. It's not like it's over. It's
Mm.
still it's a present tense issue. So a person dealing with that doesn't have to worry about statute of limitations because it's a current issue. Does that
Oh,
make sense?
yeah, 100%. It makes sense.
So so yes, I've never had a statute issue because statute of limitations would come up if say it's deleted, they're no longer collecting it, and 5 years later you just out the blue want to try to get damages for it. That's when statute of limitations will come about. But if you have an active situation where there's a deficiency on your report,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about statute of limitations because it's active.
Because it's
Now, if
active, right?
what you're talking about with the agent, um, usually, deals with whether it was peaceful or not. The agent's the one going out there to get the car. I mean, that's usually an issue, and that could, you know, that could have a statute of limitations issue. But again, it still boils down to the deficiency balance, whether they're collecting that properly. And you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a issue so you can use to get that zeroed out.
Got you. Thank you. I suspected as much, but the way you articulated was perfect. So now I know because I was looking and I couldn't find anything that says that there's any type of statute of limitations where the consumer is concerned. I know there's a statute of limitation where the creditor is concerned from when the deficiency happened and the time, the statute of limitation that they have to collect on the alleged debt. I know that there's one for the
Mm-hmm.
creditors, but I have never seen any for the consumer. So now I got curious because someone asked the question, and me and my curious mind, I'm going to try to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll look at it and text you in a second. I'm just wrapping up something. But yeah, I'm sure everything has a statute except murder, so
Okay.
and Bill Cosby crimes.
I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. Yo, drop some fire in the chat for my man Brian. Y'all don't know about this. All right, bet. So I got the answer, and the answer is as far as we know, because Brian that I just called Brian. Brian is a consumer lawyer. As far as he knows, and as far as I have researched, I've never seen any statute of limitation that says that if it's a couple years after the repossession, well, if the repossession is still reporting, the reporting of the repossession balance is still an act to collect it. They're still attempting to collect the debt. That's why it's being reported. So that deficiency balance, right, that repossession deficiency balance that is present on your consumer report, because what, remember, when they repoed the car, right? When they repoed the car, right? And they brought it to the auction, and the balance that you had was 15,000, but it got sold for 7,000. The remainder, right? So 7,000 minus 15,000, that's what? $8,000. I hope my math is right. Right? So that $8,000 that is left is the repossession deficiency balance. If this keeps reporting on your consumer report, the reporting of this is an attempt. This is still an attempt, ATTEMPT, to collect a debt. Right? So now, this is still an attempt to collect a debt. This is called the deficiency amount. It is the repossession deficiency balance. And what we just learned when we went to Georgia repossession law, it says that, listen, it says when any motor vehicle has been repossessed after default in accordance with Part 6 of Article 9. Ladies and gentlemen, Part 6 of Article 9 is the federal law that we were just on. Where is it? UCC 9, Part 6. So this is what they are referring to, right? This is UCC 9, Part 6. So UCC 9, as you can see, and then this is Part 6. So this is what the Georgia state law was referring to when it says Part 6 of Article 9, right? So it says the seller or holder shall not be entitled to recover a deficiency. Well, Doreen, what is the deficiency? The deficiency is the $8,000, which is the difference of what the car was sold for, right? It's the difference of what the car was sold for, right? Because the balance was what? 15,000, and it got sold for 7,000. So the balance, or the deficiency balance, is the $8,000 that is left. That is the deficiency that the law is talking about. Before they can collect on this deficiency, some things need to happen. The first thing that the law says that needs to happen is what? Within 10 days of the car being repossessed, the seller, the creditor, the secured party, whoever, must send a notice to the consumer, right? They must send it to the buyer. And guess what? If there's a co-signer on the account, the co-signer must also get the notice. So if there's a co-signer on the account, it's not just the buyer that's going to get the notice. The co-signer must also get the notice. And this notice must be sent certified mail or registered mail or statutory overnight mail. Those are the conditions. Remember, guys, this repossession that I'm breaking down is specifically for the state of Georgia. So if you are in a different state, what I want you to do is to pull up your own state repossession laws and just pick apart the state repossession laws the same way I am picking apart the Georgia state repossession laws, right? So the next thing we know is that what? What's the next thing we know? We know that it must be sent to the address on the contract, or if the buyer elects for it to be sent to a different address, they must send that notice to the seller, so the seller or the secured party can send a notice for where it needs to go. What if they sell it for less than you owe? Yeah, that's what we just covered. I am Tano. That's what we just covered. If they sell the collateral, if they sell the vehicle for less than what you are owed, the balance that remains is called a repossession deficiency balance. This is what the creditors or the debt collectors come after you for, especially if the creditor sold the item to a debt collector. So if the repossession deficiency balance was sold to a debt collector, this is how they're going to come after you for that deficiency balance, right? What if you pick it up before they sell it, though? So if you pick the car up before they sell it, then you retrieved it. You got the collateral back. The question is, was it a peaceful repossession? Was there any altercations? Did they break into your garage? Did they open your gate to go on your private property and retrieve the vehicle? Or was there no fence and they could just drive on up in there? So there are technicalities. If there's a fence and there's a locked gate, they cannot open your gate to go into your premises and retrieve the collateral. If your vehicle is in a garage and the door is locked, they cannot go into your garage. Those are breach of the peace, right? And that's what UCC 9-609 speaks about. I was in the car and the police told me I had to get out the car. That is a so I am Tano. According to the law, right? The law says the repossession must be peaceful. There must not be a breach of peace. So if there was an altercation or an argument between you and the repossession guy and the cops came, that is not a peaceful repossession anymore. So by definition and by situation, that made the repossession, where is it? By definition and by, where is it? That made the repossession non-compliant pursuant UCC 9-609 and UCC 9-625. It is not the repossession act or the act of receiving the collateral or retrieving the collateral is a violation of UCC 9-609 and UCC 9-625. So that right there is a violation in itself. But I didn't receive a letter. That is also a violation. So, guys, do you see, right? Do you see when you start learning consumer laws? Do you guys comprehend when you start learning consumer law how much light and clarity, how much light and clarity consumer law brings to your life? That's what I thought. I had my kid with me, so I said, whatever, and slice the tires and rim of the engine to the transmission, and went out no cash. Yeah. Oh, bruh. Oh my God, you are so crazy. Why you slash the tires though? uh, all right, that's wild. Yeah, listen. Please don't be slashing no tires. All right, please don't be slashing no tires. You don't want to like now you're learning consumer law. All right, we can't go. We can't go back to change what happened. But now you're learning consumer laws, right? Now you're learning consumer law. Please do not be slashing no tires, please, right? Because one, if there's a violation of the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 9, Part 6, like if there's a violation, you don't want them to say, oh, she slashed the tire. I mean, it's still not a peaceful repossession, but you don't want them to use that against you, right? So please don't be slashing known tires, all right? Make sure that you record. It's very important that you get it recorded. Get a camera, get a dash camera. It's important that you it's important that you record the incident because now you will be able to use it later on in your defense. So if you have to record it, record it. The repossession must be peaceful. There cannot be a breach of peace. I'm going to say this one more time. There cannot be a breach of peace when it comes to repossession. I am Thano. Please do not slash any more tires. All right? Promise me. No, no more slashing of any tires. All right? Promise me. All right, good. So, subject to subsection C, D, and F. A person. What does the word person mean? Can someone tell me what the word person means? What does the word person mean? Can somebody tell me what does the word person mean? They repoed the car in 2018, but they didn't put a repo on my report. I was out of town. It was parked at a hotel and they picked it up. I went to make a payment. That's how I found out it was repoed. All right. The next thing I want to ask you is, did you get a pre-sale letter? Did you get a pre-sale letter regarding the repossession? Did you get a pre-sale letter? Individual, company, legal entity, corporation? Yes. So when you see them using person, like right here, it says, subject to subsection C, D, and F, a person is liable for damages. A person, a corporation is liable for damages in the amount of any loss caused by failure to comply with this article. Loss caused by failure to comply may include loss resulting from the debtor's inability to obtain credit. So guys, if you're going to get a new house, if you're going to get a house, right? And this repo on your consumer report prevented you from getting a loan or a mortgage, that is called damages. Right here it says that prevents the debtor's inability to obtain credit. So, for whatever reason you were obtaining new credit and you could not get it because of this repossession that was done illegally, or the repossession was not done, well, if they didn't comply with state and federal laws, it was an illegal repossession. So, if the repossession was done illegally, the repossession was illegally done, and because that repossession was illegally done, and you got damaged as a result of that, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? You are owed damages. I'm going to say this one more time. You are owed damages. All right. So now let me ask you guys something else. After the repo, right? After the repo, you went to apply for credit, right? So you have some credit cards and you wanted higher limits. Do we need to get that in writing that the repo is causing the denial? Yes, it's a denial. So every time you get a denial, anytime you get a denial from any company or corporation that denied you any extension of credit, by law, you are supposed to be sent a notice that tells you why you were denied, where they pulled the reports from. So the reason why you were denied must be on the document, as well as what consumer reporting agency was used in determining the credit factors that caused the denial. It must be sent to you. That is called a denial letter. All right, so that's called your denial letter, and you must get this denial letter anytime you have been denied for credit or any extension of credit. All right, so now, so I think we've covered repossession. Maurice, I'm gonna switch with you real quick. All right, let's see, camera 2. Sheesh. All right, that was some great stuff. That was some really, really great stuff. Let me make sure that my mic is good. Damn, bro, you tighten the hell out of this shit. Huh? Trying to tighten. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Maurice totally dismantled my whole mic. I'm getting it set back up. All right. All right, cool. So my mic should be back in operation right now. All right, bet. So, all right, cool. Now, for no reason, because I quoted them from statutes, I learned from you and put early payoff. Wait, I know they are doing illegal things. Capital One Auto. I called after learning about late payments being illegal from you. I was owing $11K in April of this year. As of today, they removed $9K. Wow. Sheesh. Wow. For no reason, because I quoted them the statutes I learned from you and put early payoff. I know they were doing illegal things. Let's go. So you got it dropped from 11 grand to 9 grand. Shout out to you. Let's go. So where all the banks go through to see if you owe like a previous bank with is called, what is it called? Cannot dispute cannot be disputed as. I think you're probably talking about check systems. Banks use a consumer reporting agency known as check systems when it comes to banking stuff, consumer and bank relationships or banking information. They normally use a consumer reporting agency called check systems. So shout out to you, David. That I mean not David. Lyric Fraser. Shout out to you. That was amazing. You got it from 11 grand to 9 grand. That's totally amazing. Not a lot of people can say that. So that's totally good. Now, guys, I got a few things that I need to tell y'all now before I go. September, not September, jeez. Oh yeah, September 30th. September 30th. September, let me make sure this mic is good. September 30th to October 1st, we will be having the Credit Summit. All right. So the Credit Summit is happening here in Atlanta, September 30th to October 1st. So make sure you guys write this down. September 30th. Oh, they removed 9K. My bad. Shout out to you. Hey, team, make sure you guys are capturing this. Maurice, definitely capture that for me. So basically he owed like 9 grand and he used consumer law to get he owed 11 grand and used consumer law to get 9 grand removed. Fire. So let's make sure we're catching those testimonials. That's amazing. So September 30th to October 1st, we are doing the Credit Summit, the fall edition here in Atlanta. So for everybody that joined my challenges, like right now, so whoever gets the ultra tickets for the challenge, you automatically get a general admission ticket for the Credit Summit. So I'll give you guys more information on that very soon. I got a 5-day challenge coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I will be teaching you how to use or to get the deletions that you need from your consumer report, which is so important. I'll be teaching you guys how to get the accounts, the negative accounts deleted from your consumer report. And I'm also going to teach you guys how to scale your credit repair business, or how to start your credit repair business. So over the course of 5 days, right? Over the course of 5 days in June 26th to 30th, I will be teaching you guys how to repair, rebuild, restore your own credit. And I'm also going to teach you guys how to scale your credit repair business using lead generation, lead conversion, client ascension, and continuity. I'm going to be teaching you guys never before, right? Never before has credit repair nobody has done it. So no one has done teaching you guys how to delete negative items from your credit and then how to use those deletions to start a credit repair business. Nobody has done it. So in June, I'm going to be teaching you guys not only how to get more deletions, I am also going to teach you guys how to scale your credit repair business. So I'm going to teach you how to get any negative item deleted from your credit. So we're talking late payments, repossessions, collections, student loans, mortgages. It doesn't matter what's on there. I'm going to teach you guys how to get those items deleted. And then after we get those items deleted, I'm going to show you now how you can use that to start your own credit repair business and what you're going to need to do to scale your credit repair business. I want you guys to text the word business. Text the word business to 917-993-5238. Text the word business to 917-993-5238. I want you guys to join my 5-day challenge where I'm going to be breaking down all things credit, all things deletion, all things consumer law. I'll be breaking all of that down to you in September. I got the info, I got the sauce. All you got to do is show up. That's it. Show up, and I will give you everything I got. Right? Text the word business for everybody right now. Text the word business to 917-993-5238. I am going to show you guys how to get every negative item deleted from your credit. That's the first thing we're going to learn. We're going to learn how to properly dispute, how to properly send the letters out, what letters you need to send, what language must be used, how to get the deletions. And then after we do that, I'm then going to teach you now how to use those deletions to scale your credit repair business. We're going to talk about lead generation. We're going to talk about the avatar. We're going to talk about pricing. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about, guys, everything to grow and scale your credit repair business. I am doing a hybrid challenge. This has never been done before. Nobody has done it. I am the first one bringing this to you guys. So I want you guys to know that challenge, it will be like no other. So if you've been on previous challenge, this new challenge that's coming up in June, it will be like something you've never experienced before. Someone says, wow, I need this information. A week ago, I just did a voluntary repo. I'm sorry you did that. I'm sorry you did that. But now that you know better, you do better, right? Let me get some water. Where is my bottle? Okay. Whew. All right. So before I go, I know a lot of you are excited. I know a lot of you want to work with me. For those of you that just joined, welcome, welcome, welcome. We just went over repossessions. So if you have a repossession, or if you know anyone that has a repossession, I need y'all to make sure that they watch the replay. Is the next challenge included with the university? Yes. Every challenge that I do, every single challenge, everyone in the university, shout out to my guy Marvin Francois, what's good, what's good, what's good. Everyone that joins my challenges, right? Everybody that joins my challenges, once you are in the university. So if you are in my university, you will never ever pay for another challenge. All my challenges, once you're in the university, are free. I'm going to say this one more time. Every challenge that I do is free once you are in the university. You will never have to pay for another product. You will never have to pay for any challenges. Everything the university gets. All right, so making that clear. So for those of you right now online that I know that wants to work with me, you want to join the university, you want to learn how to delete negative items from your credit, you want to learn how to start your credit repair business. Like, I am giving you this. All I need you to do is text me. That's it. Just text me. Text me the word university. Text me the word university to 917-993-5238. Text the word university to 917-993-5238. So take your phone out, go inside of your messages, type the word university, and send that message to 917-993-5238. Become a part of the community. The community will be something like you've never experienced before. All right. Darain, why won't the banks and credit card companies comply when I use consumer law to remove credit card utilization? So the first thing is, you're not supposed to know this, right? You're not supposed to know this. So 15 USC 1681A 2A1 speaks about an experience with a consumer and a creditor or a person, and that your experience with that person falls under the exclusion section. So it's not that they're not compliant with it. You need to enforce it some more. So maybe you need to send another round, or maybe you need to take them to arbitration for failure to comply with the law. One of the key things that you guys need to learn as well, not because you send out a dispute letter, it means you're going to honor the dispute letter. Persistence is key. Following up and knowing what you are doing. So if you're just sending out letters and you don't know how to write a letter to rebut whatever they said, you need to join the university, right? You need further training on how to effectively use consumer law. You need to be in the university. The key thing, guys, is setting up yourself for success. So when we use the consumer laws and we dispute using consumer laws, what now needs to happen is, did we do our administrative process right? Did we give them and put them on notice that information that is inaccurate? Did we give them an opportunity to cure? Did they willfully not comply with the sections of the law? Now, if they don't comply with the section of the law, what now do you do? Right? What do you do now when they are not compliant? Well, you either need to sue them, you need to do small claims, or you need to take some form of action. What happens when a creditor, right, sends you notices or bills in the mail and you don't pay them? They take you to court. So if you're sending notices with consumer laws and they are not responding, or they are failing to abide by the law, you need to take them to court. There's no going around it. The same way they take you to court for you not paying them is the same way you take them to court for them not complying with the law. It's a two-way street. So if everyone thinks that a letter is going to be a magic pill that solves all your problem, it's not. Sometimes you got to litigate. Sometimes you got to go to arbitration. Sometimes you got to do an intent to sue. It's a part of the process. The same way when you have a $10,000 balance and it went to collection, they take you to court. It's the same thing. So you need to put them in default. It's the same thing. Can I pay you for repair or your team? So I will be launching a credit repair business very soon. I will be launching it very soon. This won't be launched until July. So July is when I'm going to launch the credit repair business. So as much as I teach it, I also will be launching a credit repair business in July, because if I haven't gotten close to 1,000 requests for credit repair, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. But remember this, the best is not the cheapest, and the cheapest is not the best. I'm going to say this one more time. The best is not the cheapest, and the cheapest is not the best. So in July, I will launch the credit repair company. So as of right now, I don't provide that service, but come July, I will be providing that service. I will be providing that service in July. So remember, guys, the 5 days challenge is coming up. I need you guys to text the word business to 917-993-5238. For everyone on here right now that joins my university, you will be able to attend the challenge for free. So once you're in the university, you attend the challenge for free. If you want to join the university and you want to be a part of it and you want me to personally coach and mentor you, all you need to do is text the word university to 917-993-5238. Hey bro, can you help with a lawyer? Absolutely. Yes, I can. So the lawyer that I work with and that I recommend is Brian, right? So Brian L. Ponder. So if you go Google Brian L. Ponder, Brian is my consumer lawyer. Oh, what happened there? Something happened. Um, not sure what happened. I hope you guys can still see me, but I don't know what happened. So Brian L. Ponder, he is a consumer lawyer that I use. Yep, Brian L. Ponder, he is the consumer lawyer that I use. So for your consults, if you are going to court, if you've been summoned to court or is there a judgment, you definitely want to get in touch. It's frozen, but you can hear me. Okay. I don't know why it's frozen. Huh? Oh, I think my computer is overheating, guys. Too much sauce. I'm gonna end the live right now. I think my computer, my Mac, is overheating. It's too much sauce. All right. So before I go, guys, remember, text the word business. Text the word business to 917-993-5238. Text the word business to 917-993-5238. For those of you that want to join my university and learn from me, work with me, and I can mentor you, text the word university to 917-993-5238. That's university. Text the word university to 993 to 917-993-5238. Everything's frozen up right now. My computer is hot. So I'm gonna end the live right now. I'm gonna see y'all later, alligator. We got a lot of stuff to do. See you later. All right. Peace out from the live.